Blog Talk Radio.
Archangels, ghosts, and Bigfoot, oh my. It's just another night for Supernatural Girlz. Real stories, real answers to life's biggest supernatural mysteries. And now for another exciting interview with paranormal experts from this world and others. Here are your supernatural hosts, Patricia Baker and Becky Andreasen. Supernatural Girlz.
Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Supernatural Girlz Radio. We've got a great show for you tonight. And I am here with my co-host, Patricia Kirkman. Hi, Patricia.
Hello, Patricia. It sounds like an echo chamber, doesn't it?
It does, Patricia. Well, I'm sitting here in front of a blazing fire. It's just a little too blazing, I'll tell you. It's makes me want to take a nap, but I can't because this show is going to be too exciting to miss. I'm glad everybody's joining us tonight for Healing with Scalar Energy. I can't wait to hear from Tom Paladino and all of the things he has to share about getting well.
Sounds very, very interesting. I'm very curious to see what he has to say myself.
Well, you know, all of these great subjects that we talk about and we bring to our listeners every week, it's hard to enjoy it if you don't feel well. And it's hard to enjoy anything when you don't feel well. So you and I had discussed doing some shows on healing. And this is alternative healing. This doesn't necessarily take the place of your traditional treatment, but it is something to look into if you like to explore alternative energy. And certainly this doesn't have any side effects. So we want to hear all about this. And I know our audience does as well. We all want to feel well. We all want to be healthy. We all want to feel free of any encumbrances that we may have picked up along the way, from injuries or illnesses that haven't quite resolved, something like that. So we've got a lot of questions for Tom, don't we?
Oh, that's for sure. I've got a list here already.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be very exciting. So tell us, Patricia, you've been looking at the wonderful Mercury retrograde that has returned to plague us yet again.
Well, with the Mercury retrograde, this is a time we can review so that when it's over, we can redo. So as we had spoken earlier today, it's a perfect time for people to take a good look at what kind of medications they're taking, what type of healing processes have they been using, what works to their betterment, what has had certain issues for them, because this is a perfect time to really rethink what you're doing to help yourself, and are they really helping, and taking a look to see what may need to be changed. We have so many things that we use, and we forget. We just either become in the habit of continuing to take them, or we forget to take them, period. So this is a good time to put all that together, but not the time to start anything new. When retrograde takes place, and the fullest of the retrograde will start on January 5th, and will last until the 10th of February, but those periods of time, don't do anything new, not a time to sign any contracts or anything of that nature. So you have to be really on top of things. But it's a good time to take and get things laid out that you'll want to do afterwards. Get your appointments made, but don't sign anything legal at this point in time.
And it's also not a good time to buy electronics or cars or anything
absolutely
like that,
not.
right?
No, absolutely not. In fact, I always say during a retrograde, buy nothing unless you have to eat it. There's nothing else that lasts, you know. But most importantly, it's that during the retrograde, we become impatient. And it's a perfect time for us to look backwards because that's what we're doing. We're really regressing with what has been to take another and a better look at it.
Well,
what better
I
time
know
to take a new look at our health?
Exactly. I mean, I'm looking at all these vitamins and minerals and herbs and things that I have lined up in my cabinet, and I think it's a perfect time to pull them all out and take a closer look and see what I've been taking, what I've forgotten to take, as you mentioned, and to see what kind of a new program I should start on February 10th.
Well, I think it's very important. And actually, the retrograde shadow period lasts until the 4th of March.
Yeah,
so we have a shadow period that we're in
Patricia.
right now. I know. We have a couple-week shadow period going into the retrograde. It hits full force. Then we wane out during the shadow period. So being aware of those things makes it a lot easier. And tomorrow is a perfect day to look at alternative health issues because it's a universal 6th day. It's all about alternative healing, what we need to do for the self to make the self better. So what better way to get a jump start than our show tonight?
Yes, this is perfect timing, and thank you for those words of wisdom about Mercury retrograde. We've had some rough ones in the last couple of years. It never used to bother me that much, but just lately it seems like it's much more powerful than it's ever been. Maybe it's my imagination.
No, a lot of it depends on where it is and where it's coming from and or where that particular planet is in your specific chart. So we have a lot of things to take a look at, but I think the healing element is so important for us to really see what's available for us to use.
Well, that's great. I can't wait to hear what Tom has to say and what he offers his clients. So this is going to be great. And I also want to mention a couple things. One is we're going to be doing a prayer circle on Sunday evening at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. And it's for everybody in the audience and for Helene Olson, who, as we know, is battling a fairly serious health issue, and also for Becky Andreasen, who's recovering from a serious health issue. So we want to send all of our prayers to Helene and to Becky and to everybody in our audience. We have just a great audience. They're so loyal, and they always write in and keep in contact with us. They love the show, and we want to give back to everybody in the audience, and this is a great way to do it, the beginning of 2015, and just for everybody to relax into that healing energy, the prayer energy that we're going to be disseminating to everyone that listens on Sunday evening at 7 o'clock. So be sure to spread the word also for anyone else that you know that would like to participate and also receive this prayer healing for themselves and their loved ones.
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's just a
nice
way to
calling in, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I think was the phrase. It really could be called dial-a-prayer, isn't it?
Oh, gosh. I haven't heard that in a long time.
No, for some reason it just popped out.
Yeah, there it is. Maybe that's what we should call it, dial-a-prayer. Well, this will be a nice energetic exchange, and I'm sure people will benefit from it. I'm very excited to offer it, and especially for Helene and Becky, they're on the path of healing, and we want to keep promoting that for them and for everybody. Everybody wants to feel well and healthy again, so that's the idea.
I think that's important for all of us. If we don't feel well, nothing feels right.
No, nothing's fun, and it's always this thing hanging in the back of our mind that maybe we shouldn't do this or that because we don't feel well enough. So it's a limitation. It can also be, when there's an illness, there's always a lesson in it. So we don't want to ignore it. We want to get to the bottom of it on every single level that we can, and then recover. So that's the idea. But we're going to bring Tom on in just a minute, and he is going to be telling us about scalar energy, which is also known as prana, chi, radiant energy, zero-point energy, ki, orgone, eloptic. I've never even heard of that one. So he has been experimenting with this for 25 years, and he's been helping people with pathogenic infection, and I have a lot of information on that one. So I can't wait to see what else he has to say. So again, he's a scalar researcher, and he has 25 years of experience. So Tom, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Patricia and Patricia. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well,
thanks so much.
It's a joy for us, that's for sure.
Yes.
It's my pleasure.
You heard what we were saying. I mean, we all have our aches and pains and complaints, and some of us are battling more serious situations. But this is a very exciting field, and we want to know everything about it. So tell us how you got involved in scalar energy.
Sure. Well, first of all, everybody's an expert in scalar energy already. It's everywhere. We're using scalar energy every second of our lives, and I'll get into that. How did I get into scalar energy? I was inspired by a scientist by the name of Nikola Tesla. Many of you are familiar with Nikola Tesla, who was an incredible electrical engineer.
Right.
However, a lot of people don't understand that Tesla also worked with scalar energy, predominantly in the latter part of his career. Actually, Tesla was one of the first pioneers of scalar energy, and he perfected many instruments, many devices that controlled scalar energy. Well, I knew Tesla was doing something different. I knew that Tesla was working with a different type of energy that was not exclusively of the electromagnetic spectrum. So Tesla's early career was with that of AC electricity, and the latter part was that of scalar energy inquiry and study. And I vowed that in some way I would follow in his footsteps. And here I am today. In some way, I think I'm continuing on with the work of Nikola Tesla.
Oh, wonderful.
It sounds like you are. And Tesla was an incredible genius. Some of the things that he invented that other people took credit for. And then we've heard all kinds of stories of how a lot of his patents disappeared. Were just taken by who knows who. Well, we can take a wild guess.
Let's mention that really quickly. As Tesla died, actually the day that he died, I understand, in New York City, he was in a hotel room for most of the latter part of his life, and agents of the U.S. government seized his notes and his inventions, and most of those notes have never surfaced. So for whatever reason, the great genius of Nikola Tesla has been locked away. It's not been given to the people. What a shame.
It is a shame.
So sad. So sad.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It is. That's terrible. And he obviously had access to information on whatever level he received it on that would be beneficial to all of humanity. So it's wonderful that you're carrying on in his tradition, Tom.
Thank you. And I appreciate this platform in order to get the word out. That's what it takes. It's going to take the people to get this out into the general public.
Well, yes. I mean, the first thing is education, because all of this has been kept from us one way or another. So let's educate us, Patricia, and our audience about scalar energy. What is it?
Okay. It's very simple, again, and everybody is already an expert in scalar energy. Scalar energy originates from our sun of our solar system, the stars of the universe. It's everywhere. Well, that energy is the primal energy of the universe. I'm convinced. All energy originates as scalar energy, and then in some environments, scalar energy will degrade into electricity and magnetism. So, scalar energy is the perfect energy of the universe. It is the preferred energy of the universe. And with that said, I believe scalar energy has much greater promise than that of electricity, that energy that we're working with today. Sadly, electricity is a poor substitute as far as I'm concerned as compared to that of electricity.
So scalar energy, it sounds like the way you're describing it, it's kind of an upgrade from electromagnetism and just plain electricity.
It really is. It really is. I would say that electromagnetic energy is a degraded form of scalar energy. Now, what is scalar energy? It's chi, prana. Some people call it zero-point energy. Other people call it life force energy or universal consciousness. All of those terms are synonymous. Scalar energy is the intelligence of the universe. And when we get into this conversation, we're going to see that scalar energy has vast applications, and much of the supernatural world can be explained now by way of scalar energy. You cannot understand and you cannot explain so many supernatural phenomena exclusively by way of electricity. It is scalar energy that will open the door to understand the supernatural realm.
Wow. Well, we have to know more about that since this is our field of expertise. So this is very exciting. Not only is it about healing, but it's about an explanation of extrasensory perception and other things that are going on around us that we can't necessarily see with our physical eyes, but we can sense.
Yes.
Wow.
Let's touch upon that right away. Scalar energy is intelligent energy. You mentioned ESP. Well, what is the animating principle behind ESP? Extrasensory perception, whether it's you're clairvoyant or psychic, is scalar energy. Why? Well, scalar energy, once again, is intelligent energy. It's from the stars. It's from the sun. And we have to look at it in the context. It's just not fire and heat. Energy is much more than that. It's intelligence. Scalar energy carries information. So now we finally can understand the paranormal world. There is telekinesis. There is the ability to communicate psychically. There is clairvoyance. All of those are a function of scalar energy. Scalar energy is a communication system, and everybody's capable of it. Some people are more inclined than others. So ESP is simply a function of scalar energy, communication.
Wow. So with scalar energy, now I heard it's a longitudinal wave. Is that accurate?
That's correct. Okay. Let me explain this. So picture this, people. If electricity looks like a jump rope, a sinusoidal wave, up and down undulating jump rope, scalar energy is different. It's a double helix. Scalar energy forms the same pattern as DNA. As a matter of fact, scalar energy is responsible for DNA. So if you put two corkscrews together side by side, you would have a longitudinal wave. That's scalar energy.
Interesting. Now, how do you harness this energy? Because you actually help people to basically disable and disassemble pathogens such as viruses, bacteria, parasites, protozoas, amoebas, all of those horrible things. So how do you harness the energy, the scalar energy, to help people with this?
Sure. I have, over the years, developed scalar energy instruments, and I've perfected them. Now, one of the characteristics of scalar energy is that it controls matter. Scalar energy can either assemble physical matter or disassemble physical matter. Well, with my scalar energy instruments, I've perfected a technique where I can disassemble microbes, germs. In so doing, I can routinely, easily disassemble the molecular geometry of any virus, bacterium, or fungus. Now, with that statement, consider what scalar energy offers to the world. If we can break apart and eradicate a virus, then we can rid people of that infection. Eventually, scalar energy will allow us to cure or prevent viral disease, and likewise for bacterial and fungal infections. So what I'm saying is scalar energy is a fundamental force, and that fundamental force allows us to control physical matter. In so doing, I've developed, again, this technique whereby I can control germs. Well, if I can control germs, I have mastery over these microbes, over these microorganisms.
And that's very important because what the latest research is saying about cancer, about autoimmune diseases, any chronic illness, is there is an incredible viral load and bacterial load in the person that has these diseases. So being able to disassemble the pathogens is critical to these people getting well.
Yes, I agree. I concur. And that's just one of the aspects of my research. Sure, enabling the body to respond favorably, to bolster the immune system so that we can indeed fight against the scourge of cancer. Yes, pathogenic infection is one particular facet to improve the recovery time, if you will, from cancer or any type of mutation. But consider this. At least 25% of human cancers are caused by viruses. When a virus gets into our body, it integrates its genetic material into our cell. And once that happens, the cell becomes immortalized. The cell becomes cancerous. And this proliferation is simply uncontrolled. That's cancer. Well, if I can eradicate viruses, and I can, then this will be a means to prevent many cancers. If I can eradicate viruses from the human body, which ultimately proves to be the causative agent of some cancers, not all. Viruses cause some cancers, then I can prevent some cancers.
And that's huge, because here you are just using the scalar energy, and you're able to make a profound difference in a person's viral load or bacterial load, which again is so critical to getting people on the path to healing. So there's also something else I want to bring up, and this has been big in medical news recently, is the subject of biofilm. And the way I understand it, and I'm sure you understand it more profoundly than me, that the biofilm is kind of like a slime, and it encases the bacteria or the viral load, and then it becomes more difficult to get rid of this thing. So the body starts attacking it but can't quite get to the point of eradicating it. And it's a slippery slope with the biofilm, literally, because it's difficult to get rid of, and they say that this is behind a lot of things like Lyme disease. So tell us a little bit more about that. Does Scalar work with biofilm?
Yes. Well, Scalar Energy to the rescue once again. What do I mean? Nothing can impede Scalar Energy. If a germ, if a pathogen, if bacteria is ensconced in a biofilm, if it's hiding in a biofilm, Scalar Energy penetrates through that polysaccharide. There's no physical object that can impede Scalar Energy. So when I'm treating people with Scalar Energy, regardless if a germ is in the brain, if it's, again, ensconced in the biofilm, or if a pathogen or germ has found its way into even the bone marrow, it doesn't matter. Scalar Energy will disassemble the geometry of any germ, regardless of where that germ is in the body.
Does it take a long period of time for this to start to show signs of healing or working with?
It's a two-step process. Number one, we're going to break apart, disassemble the germ. We're going to change the molecular geometry of a germ, a pathogen, so it no longer exists. That is an instantaneous process. What do I mean? Scalar Energy instantly breaks down, changes, transmutes the molecular integrity of a germ, a pathogen. Just like an opera singer who can shatter glass with her voice, once that glass is shattered, it's no longer a glass, a wine glass. Well, likewise, Scalar Energy can shatter, can break apart a germ instantly. Now, from there is a recovery time. But this is the beauty of Scalar Energy. It does what you tell it to do. Scalar Energy is fundamental. Light is a means of controlling matter. Scalar light, scalar energy, is a fundamental means that I have at my beck and call in which I can control a germ. I can break apart viruses, bacteria, fungi. In so doing, the process is instant. I instantly disassemble the molecular structure of a pathogen, a germ. Therefrom, the body has to recover. And usually most people, if their immune system isn't compromised, they can recover quite quickly.
Now, when you treat somebody, when you give somebody a dose of the scalar energy, and they have these pathogens that need to be disassembled, do they get the Herx reaction or not?
No. Great question. Why? The Herxheimer reaction is a chemical reaction. I do not work with chemicals. Scalar energy is non-physical. I work with light and only light, scalar energy. So the beauty is this. There is no die-off. Why? Because a die-off is a consequence of a chemical change. There is no Herxheimer or cytokine or storm or overdose or toxic shock. I am working with light, with energy. Chemicals will produce a die-off or a Herxheimer reaction. Chemicals could produce some type of shock, some type of overdose. I'm not using chemicals. So the process that I have developed is painless, and there are none of those side effects. It's an entirely different reaction. It's a light reaction. It has nothing to do with chemicals. Hence, there is no chemical reaction.
So it sounds like, again, for our audience members who may not be familiar with this term, Herxheimer reaction is when somebody is doing a cleansing and they have a lot of toxins in their system and there's an overload, and it gets dumped during the cleansing process into their system, and it almost feels like you're sicker than you were before until this stuff gets, dismissed from your system. So not having to deal with that is a big improvement on detoxification.
Yes. Oh,
yeah,
definitely.
That's the beauty. With scalar energy, there's no pollution, there's no die-off. Again, remember, scalar energy is non-physical. It's not a chemical. Well, one of the beauties with treating people with scalar energy in the human body, as well as using scalar energy in the future as a means of power generation, there's no toxicity. There is no chemical. There is nothing physical about scalar energy. So it's pure light. Well, you cannot have a pollutant. You cannot have die-off. You cannot have a chemical reaction when something is non-physical.
And it's important, too, for people to understand that viruses, bacteria in your body, they communicate with each other. So it's a smart system there, and unfortunately, in some cases, smarter than us. So they're communicating with each other. And the scalar energy, it sounds like, comes in and disassembles them. So that whole level of input to your body is that toxic level. That pressure is removed.
That's correct. That's a beautiful way of putting it. This is all attributed to this natural energy of the stars, of the sun. Again, if scalar energy originates from the stars, it's everywhere. And this is a benign energy. It's much more than a benign energy. It's necessary for life. So I am welcoming any type of scalar energy research. I know that this is only going to benefit mankind. It's the pure essence of the universe. There's no toxicity. There's no shock with scalar energy. It's pure divine energy. That's supernatural.
It certainly is. And the way that I see it, too, and please tell me if this is accurate, scalar energy is also organized. Does that make sense? Okay.
Of course. It's self-directed. It is organized. It really is the mind of God. Regardless of your religious beliefs or principles, let's consider perhaps this common denominator. There is a creator, and that creator is wise, and he's going to use this intelligence by way of scalar energy. In other words, scalar energy, scalar light, is a broadcast of intelligence from the creator.
So it can help people to reorganize because, again, I see viruses and bacteria, and as you described, even cancer, the new cell line just growing unabated. There's no organization to this. It just goes willy-nilly wherever, and then you're at the effect of it until these things are disassembled. And we really don't have another good way to disassemble these things. I mean,
no, we don't.
The pharmaceuticals, believe me, I'm the first one to take something if I need it, but we don't take aspirin because we have an aspirin deficiency. There's something else going on, and it's so important to try to get to the root cause. And I think these pathogens are so many times at the root cause of illness.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Thank you.
But they've linked
something. Excuse me, Patricia. Go ahead.
That's okay. I just was going to say they've linked MS to the Epstein-Barr virus.
Yes.
So
thank you.
We have that connection now that we didn't have before, and now they're linking other autoimmune diseases to the Epstein-Barr virus. They're also linking it to mycoplasma infections, which are really hard to get rid of. It's kind of like fighting ghosts in your system with mycoplasma, which has no cell wall, can go anywhere. And getting rid of that, we don't have a good way to do it, except for with what you're offering here, scalar energy.
Yeah. It's such a godsend. Once people really understand where we're going with this, it will not only change the course of medical science, but many facets of our lives are going to change in the very near future. Scalar energy is about to make its entry, and mankind will just embrace this. It's going to be fantastic what the advances that scalar energy will afford.
God, this is great, Tom. Well, let me ask you about broken bones, fractures. Does it have any impact on your ability to heal coherently from those types of things?
Yes. Now, what I've done in the past, with scalar energy, again, I'm able to control nature. I've developed a technique with scalar energy in which I can assemble nutrients. I can actually assemble vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, amino acids in the body. And I offer that to the general public. So my process as far as human wellness, as far as changing molecular structure, it really is twofold. I can break apart, disassemble germs, and secondly, I can assemble nutrients. Well, by assembling nutrients in the body, many people have told me that healing has been facilitated and accelerated. Some people have told me that they've had broken bones or they've had muscle sprains. And by assembling nutrients with scalar energy at the cellular level, many people tell me that they experience, again, an acceleration, that these nutrients have served to fortify the body to provide the necessary recovery, and in so doing, I have seen incredible recovery from anything from a broken bone to a sprained ankle to post-surgery recovery.
That's
excellent.
Osteoporosis?
And then, go ahead, Patricia.
I was asking, what about osteoporosis? Are you able to work with that?
Some people, yes. I cannot per se cure it. I'm not saying I can reverse it, but at least I can palliate it. What do I mean? By providing the proper nutrients. Scalar energy allows me to provide nutrients to each cell. Remember, we're working with a light energy. We're not working with chemicals. So when I administer scalar energy, every cell in the human body participates in this function. Every cell begins to assemble vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, amino acids, phytochemicals, etc. In so doing, I have observed that scalar energy most likely is the perfect delivery system of nutrients. You don't have to worry about metabolism. You don't have to worry about your body breaking down and assimilating nutrients. To the contrary, I deliver nutrients to each cell. Light energy is the perfect delivery system for nutrients.
So these are automatically assimilated, and you don't have to worry about digestive issues or anything like swallowing pills, any of that stuff.
Yes.
It's just immediately delivered.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Correct. And you don't have to worry about enzymes breaking down certain nutrients. Everything is, I should say, assembled at the cellular level with scalar energy. Now, consider that. Put all that in context, that the cells now have the necessary nutrients for repair, for generation, for growth. Yes, I believe that this process by way of scalar energy, again, is the perfect delivery system for nutrients, and it will engender a perfect mind and body to finally achieve the nutrition that we need. Obviously our food is denatured. Obviously our food is polluted. What am I saying? I obviate all of that. I avoid all of that by delivering by pure light, the nutrients that we need.
It couldn't be a more perfect system. Now,
God, it sounds fabulous.
I know it. It's just great. So now, for people that want to experience this, because I know I'm getting questions now from the chat room, how can I have this done?
Sure.
So tell everybody, please, how does this work? How do you actually deliver the scalar energy to your clients?
Sure. I have a website dedicated to that, and I'll explore that at the end of the program. How do I deliver scalar energy? Now, take a breath. Scalar energy, once again, is not electricity. I deliver scalar energy to anybody in the world by way of their photograph. A photograph of a person is a light representation of that person. It represents a light code, a light signature. I can treat anybody in the world exclusively by way of their photograph. When I place a photograph of a person inside my scalar energy instrument, my instrument automatically finds that person. Now consider how two cell phones can find one another, or a satellite can find a radio or a TV. Well, likewise, my scalar energy instrument is like a satellite. And when I place your photograph inside my instrument finds you. It sends energy to you just as a satellite would send energy to a TV or a radio or a cell phone. So I typically treat, on any given day, thousands upon thousands of people exclusively by way of their photograph. A photograph is the source of light, just as a cell phone or a TV is a source of light that can receive or transmit light, energy. So to answer the question, I treat everybody remotely. And scalar energy allows me to treat people by virtue of their photograph.
That's amazing.
Yes,
do you use numerous treatments for each individual, or is one treatment sufficient?
I treat people for 30 days. After 30 days, I would invariably say the greater majority of people who sign up for the program feel better. They feel much better. Why? Presently, I have the capacity to target over 60,000 species of pathogens, germs. Now, during a pathogenic cleansing by way of scalar energy, I can eradicate thousands upon thousands of potential germ species of germs, such as viruses, bacteria, fungi. I do that for 30 consecutive days. Well, after treating people for 30 consecutive days with scalar energy and the capacity that I have to treat out over 60,000 different species of germs, invariably just about everybody feels better. We've gotten rid of the germs. The germs are the cause of disease.
Now, I also saw on your website, which I read very thoroughly, was fascinating, that you say to people, and remember to make good choices with your food and your water. And that is so important because all this wonderful treatment that you can offer people, people still have to take responsibility for what they're putting in their mouths.
Yes, thank you. Food
on a
is
daily
medicine.
basis.
Yes, exactly. Food is medicine, and we have to eat well. You cannot eat junk food. Sooner or later, that's going to catch up to you. Junk food is denatured. It's filled with chemicals and preservatives, and it's not the natural way. It's not what God wants. You have to eat fruits and vegetables. You have to eat wholesome food. You have to find the diet that's right for you. And I'm not a nutritionist, and nor could I give you a blanket statement. But I will say this: eat natural food. Eat wholesome food, healthful food. Avoid junk food. Obviously, everybody realizes that.
Well, yeah, it doesn't stop some people from going to the drive-thru, but it should because there's nothing in that stuff. I mean, I've had meals like that, not from a fast food place, but when at the end of the meal, I'm thinking, did I really eat anything that was good for me? And this is the question people have to keep asking, whether they're willing to do the work of fresh juice or raw food or just buying organic produce and cooking it the way they like to. It's a very important aspect of staying healthy and of healing, I think.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Food is our medicine, and some people get that, some people grasp it, some people don't. Everything we digest, people, it's going to become incorporated in our body. Please avoid junk food. Do the best you can. Eat wholesome, natural food.
It's difficult finding food that tastes the same as it used to. Everything is so discombobulated these days. There's nothing that you really want to put, even to try to find a proper person that is selling good vitamins, vegetables that are full of vitamins and such. By the time they get some of these things to the store, they look so beaten up, you don't even want to take it home.
Yes, I would agree.
Yeah,
and you really have to make it. You have to be cognizant as to what you're buying. When you go to the grocery store, you want to gravitate to the food section that's going to be more beneficial. Produce is wonderful. It's fruits and vegetables is wonderful. If you like a little bit of red meat, okay, I understand. Fish is wonderful. You simply have to make a conscious effort not to buy junk food, and you have to start identifying what you're going to buy and what you're going to take home. Don't tempt yourself. Don't buy junk food and think that you're going to be able to avoid it. You won't. You'll eat it. If it's in your home, you're going to eat it.
I can attest to that.
True. Yeah. Yes. So don't do it, people. Leave that stuff in the grocery store.
Well, as they say, all the things that are on the shelf that you can visually see, those are the things that are high dollar for the store, and those are usually the products that don't have any real value to them. You have to go off to the sidelines and to the back of the store to find what's really good for the system.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
That's right. Well, we're going to just stop here for a minute and take a very quick commercial break. We've got lots of questions coming in from the chat room and lots more to discuss with you, Tom. This is fascinating tonight. So everybody stay tuned and
This is Veronique Raskin, founder of the Organic Wine Company. As one of the pioneers of the organic wine movement, since 1980 I have brought you the very best and most authentic organic wines directly to your table. I work with small family estates who grow certified organic grapes and produce exceptional wines. You can purchase our wines individually from our website at theorganicwinecompany.com or join one of our wine clubs. Our organic wines are perfect for you and for your family as gifts for friends and relatives, and they are simply spectacular for the holidays. Visit us at theorganicwinecompany.com to enjoy the very best organic wines conveniently delivered to your door. I am Veronique Raskin, passionate about my mission. I offer to you vegan, organic, and biodynamic wines, wines made by people of the heart, wines with a heart. Au revoir. Call us at 1-888-ECO-WINE.
Are you ready for a new experience of freedom and powerful connection? Would you like a positive, effortless change in your life? Then come to CosmicFusion.com, where we offer the most advanced energy clearing and expansion techniques in the world, with a quantum vortex energy to activate your divine blueprint and life's purpose. When your soul leads the way with cosmic fusion and quantum vortex energy, you can break clear of past difficulties and blocks with the power of the source. With cosmic fusion, the source energy does the work for you. It's easy and effortless. Listen to our free meditation right from our Cosmic Fusion website, the Cosmic Code Meditation. Sign up for one of our interactive webinars today. Come to Cosmic Fusion. www.CosmicFusion.com to experience an effortless awakening and transformation. Are you ready for an upgrade? Are you ready for a new experience of living in the fifth dimensional magic and powerful connection? Then visit CosmicFusion.com today. CosmicFusion.com.
Your property tax bill. Have you seen it lately? It's frightening. Your property taxes are going up while your home value is going down. It's time to fight back and win. For the real truth about the property tax system, get attorney Pat Quintilian's book, Are You Getting Screwed on Your Property Taxes? How to Find Out and How to Fix It. Attorney Quintilian answers all your questions and gives you the facts you need to fight a property tax bill that is spiraling out of control. You'll also read about what happens to property owners who don't check their property records, only to find out too late they're taxed on square footage, fixtures, and even buildings that they don't own. Is this happening to you? Learn your rights. Buy attorney Pat Quintilian's book today. Are you getting screwed on your property taxes? How to find out and how to fix it. Available on Amazon.com.
Welcome back, everyone. We are having a great discussion tonight about scalar wave healing with Tom Paladino, and you can find Tom at selfhealgo.com. And if you have a question for Tom tonight, you can call in at 646-478-0828. That's 646-478-0828, or you can log into the chat room and we'll ask your question for you. And, Tom, here's a question that just came up in the chat room. People want to know, so what does the session entail? Do you have to lie down at a specific time to receive this energy?
Excellent question. Excellent. No, that's the beauty of scalar energy. Remember, scalar energy is the identical energy of the sun and the stars. It's sunlight, it's starlight. So we're constantly being engulfed by sunlight and starlight. So to answer your question, no. Just go about your regular routine. You don't have to change anything. Why? I'm working with that pure energy of the sun, the pure energy of the stars. What I have is a 30-day program in which I treat people 3 times a day for what? Number one, a pathogenic cleansing. Secondly, I treat people for a nutrient program that includes vitamins and minerals. And the third treatment is a chakra balancing. So for 30 days, you will receive 3 treatments a day with scalar energy, a total of 90 sessions in the course of a month, and invariably, you'll feel better. This natural quintessential energy will produce an improvement in your health.
And that's what we all want. Now, this sounds just so amazing, but I have to ask you, does it last? Because there's a lot of alternative healing methods, and there's a lot of traditional healing methods that will treat someone, but then they're right back where they started a few months later.
Sure. Well, let's look at the facts. Scalar energy is fundamental. It's a fundamental force in nature. And what I'm saying is this. When I disassemble a germ, that germ no longer exists. And if that germ no longer exists, it cannot then impinge upon your health. We've eradicated the cause of disease. Now, reinfection is possible, but my point is this. At least we've given you a leg up. We have eradicated the germs that were causing disease and discomfort in your body, and that is indeed a significant step. It is an eradication of the causative agent to the point that germ no longer exists. Secondly, by delivering nutrients directly to the cell, inside the cell, it's a perfect delivery system, once again, for minerals and antioxidants and vitamins. That's going to help you significantly to repair, to undergo regeneration, to allow your body to function properly. Well, that in itself is, again, a light process is significant to the point that nothing impinges upon it. When I deliver nutrients, it is being delivered at the level of the cell, at the cellular level, and yes, your body will then pick up those nutrients and will improve. So with that description, yes, your health will improve. And with many people, it's a lasting improvement.
And also, I guess, if people are making better lifestyle choices, they're willing to, again, choose better food, lose a little weight if they have extra weight that they shouldn't be carrying around, those kinds of things. Maybe they were a smoker and they stopped smoking. So there's all kinds of contributing factors that can help from the day that they're treated moving forward. Do you find that people do just naturally make better lifestyle choices after the treatment?
Yes, they do, because then they finally understand that we're working with pure energy, light energy. And many of them then, in many ways, they're going to abandon a lifestyle that was harmful. They're going to see the deleterious effects that their lifestyle choices had, the food that they were eating, the bad habits that they picked up. And I also want to mention something that when I am performing scalar energy treatments, the chakra balancing, scalar energy will balance our chakras, our meridians. And in so doing, many people then seem to have a greater sense of clarity or understanding. A chakra balancing by way of my scalar energy instrument for some people will serve to palliate depression or anxiety. All of that taken into consideration, a scalar energy chakra balancing will serve to give people a greater sense of peace and tranquility, and again, it will seem to sharpen the clarity of mind. Put all of that together, it's a win-win-win situation.
Oh, it really
Scalar
is.
energy, yes, scalar energy, thank you, produces a mental environment that people seem to be more at ease, and people seem to have a greater sense, again, of making the right decision. Some people have told me that they've given up procrastination. Well, all of this is by way of this impetus of scalar energy.
Gosh, it just
fabulous,
so wonderful. I know.
If it could keep me from procrastinating, sign me up.
Oh gosh, yes.
Let me give you the range of possibilities, and let's start with the supernatural. I believe firmly that there is a heaven. I believe there is an afterlife, and I believe heaven is a perfect environment. And what is it that makes heaven perfect? It's scalar energy. Some people say they've gone to heaven and they've seen incredible light. What did those people see? They saw scalar energy. They saw scalar light. That's the supernatural quintessence. Heaven is 100% scalar energy. There's no electricity in heaven. So a perfect scalar energy environment makes us entirely happy. We're in a state of bliss. We're in a state of perfection. Scalar energy is the way to perfection.
Well, like Patricia said, we all need to sign up for this. This is, again, a remarkable technology that you've harnessed, and you're offering to people at, in my opinion, I think it's an excellent price, too, for this 90 treatments a month. I mean, that's tremendous. So now, what times of day do you do this? Does it matter? I mean, do you have specific times that you give this energy to people?
Yeah, it really doesn't matter what time I give it to people. I live in the United States on the East Coast, so many times I'm treating people for germs in the morning, for pathogens in the morning, and then later in the afternoon I'm treating for nutrients. This is all I do. So to answer your question, I treat people around the clock. In so doing, I find myself very busy, treating people 7 days a week. Nevertheless, I do treat during the day. I don't stay up late at night. I'll conclude with the treatments by midnight. So for the most part, if you live in the United States, you're going to be treated during the daylight hours.
So
you treat more than one person at a time?
Yes. The scalar energy instrument is to the point where it works again like a satellite. If a satellite can send out millions upon millions of signals, my scalar energy treatments, my scalar energy instruments can treat millions of people likewise simultaneously.
So you can treat more than one person at a time?
Yes. On any given day, I'm treating at least 50 to 60,000 people.
Oh, my goodness.
I thought that's what you had said earlier, and that's why I had to ask. So how do you deal with their pictures? I mean, do you... Well,
that's a good point. I've made it a point to start treating people in Africa in order to curb the spread of Ebola. So I have a few chosen souls out there who simply download photographs all day long from people who are living in Africa in order to help them. You know, they're poor and they're marginalized. I want to help them. And I want to make a dent in the epidemic, the Ebola epidemic, and I also want to be able to treat them simultaneously for HIV infection, for dengue fever, and for malaria and cholera. So I'm treating people in Africa for free, if you will.
Wow,
wonderful.
That's very generous of you. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Very definitely. If a person has emphysema that they've acquired from valley fever, is that workable since there's already been damage done to the lungs?
That's an excellent point. I cannot repair damaged lungs or repair tissue or cartilage. I can treat out the fungi that are responsible for valley fever, but once the damage has been done, I cannot regenerate tissue. That's a great question.
Okay.
That's interesting. So that is a limit of the scalar energy so far, and you may find a way around that.
Well, I think eventually we'll be able to reprogram the human genome with scalar energy. And if we can do that, then we should be able to regenerate tissue easily.
Because what you're really talking about on its base level is anti-aging, too. I mean, if you can regenerate tissue, you can also prevent aging and reverse it with scalar energy.
Now, let's go back to heaven, which I have mentioned is a perfect scalar energy environment. Mm-hmm. That's why people don't age in heaven. They're in a perfect steady state. Scalar energy is anti-aging. Scalar energy is anti-disease. That's why if you go to heaven, everybody's young. Nobody ages. It's perfection.
So it's all organized energy. So have you had any success with anti-aging treatments? Have you done any?
No. I'm going to have to reverse time. How do I do that? Well, scalar energy is a double helix once again. If you can reverse that double helix in its rotation, if you will, then you can reverse time. You could actually go back in time.
So, gosh, there's so many possibilities with this. This is really exciting. Oh, my goodness.
That it is.
Yeah. I mean, again, my mind is spinning because I'm thinking of all of the next steps here.
Exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, all these things you can do with the machinery you've invented, and you certainly are a pioneer, Tom. You're on the leading edge of all of this, and you're offering people a very gentle way of healing and approaching in the future an anti-aging system, because aging is not for sissies. It's a very difficult process. So being able to help
that.
Yeah, help people change it, make it easier, because, obviously we're living longer, but quality of life has to be there. So if Scalar can help with that, then that's ideal.
Yes, it is. And that's where we're going. Eventually we'll be able to master time. Scalar energy is the cause of time. Time is simply a function of scalar energy. We finally understand now the secrets of the universe. This program, I understand you have a penchant for the supernatural. Well, finally, we can understand what is the driving force behind so many supernatural phenomena. Scalar energy is the cause of time.
That's fascinating. Now, here's another question for you. In order to treat someone, do you need to know what their major health issue is?
Excellent question. I do not need to know. I do not diagnose with my instrument. So what do? I offer standardized universal treatments. Number one, I can treat out over 60,000 potential species of infection. Number two, I assemble nutrients, vitamins, and minerals in everybody's body. That's universal. And the last treatment, chakra balancing, well, everybody has 7 chakras, so the scalar energy treatments seem to balance, harmonize the 7 chakras. I treat everybody identically. The treatments are standardized. It really represents universal health care.
Wow. That's great. Now, here's another question for you from the chat room. They want to know about opening certain chakras. Certain people want to know, can it open your third eye?
Yes, I believe it can, but I will say this. Scalar energy is a divine energy. It's a divine intelligence. It's obviously infinitely smarter than me. When I treat you with scalar energy, I let the energy dictate how it's going to work upon the chakras. I cannot control that. So in other words, my high-powered scalar energy instruments will indeed balance and harmonize your 7 chakras. To what extent, how they do that, that's beyond my control.
So the energy goes where it needs to go, and what happens needs to happen, and that's that.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, another couple of questions here from the chat room. How can anyone know they have tapped into scalar energy? Because you're saying it's everywhere. So is there a way that people can tap into it and know that they have?
Well, I want to congratulate everybody who's listening. All of you are experts in scalar energy. You might not realize that. What do I mean? Every time you think, it's a broadcast of scalar energy. Thinking is a function of scalar energy. So whether you think, have a creative thought, memorize, are able to imagine, all of that is a broadcast of scalar energy. Next, human emotion is a broadcast of scalar energy. Every time you have love or compassion or even fear or some type of misgiving, that's an expression of energy. Every emotion is scalar energy. Your bodies are held together by what? Scalar energy. If it wasn't for scalar energy, everything in the universe would fall apart. So every cell in your body is being held together and maintained by scalar energy. The reason your DNA is in a form of a double helix is because scalar energy, which is a double helix, assembles the DNA. What am I saying? DNA is a standing wave of scalar energy.
Oh, my. Okay.
Scalar energy is the motivating force, the animating force behind all genetic structure. The double helix that scalar energy observes is responsible for the double helix of our DNA code. So, put all that together, yes, we're nothing but scalar energy beings. We might not realize that, but everybody is a scalar energy being. Our soul, the human soul, is composed of scalar energy. I'll round it off with this. Everybody has a soul. Well, what makes the soul eternal? Scalar energy. Why? Scalar energy is an eternal energy. It does not degrade. Scalar energy does not weaken. It does not experience entropy. So the human soul is composed exclusively of scalar energy.
So when you do this treatment for people, do you have second sight where you can actually see how these scalar waves are getting into somebody's system and reorganizing and disassembling pathogens and building up nutrients? Can you watch that, or have you had anybody who has second sight who can see that happening?
I cannot see that myself. Some people have told me that when I treat them, if they meditate, they can actually see themselves accepting, receiving this scalar energy. Now, that's some people who are very sensitive, but I cannot see this. It's an invisible energy. And just like a satellite in outer space, you don't see the visible energy coming off of a satellite or a cell phone tower. Well, likewise, I don't see this energy. It is invisible.
Okay. And here's another question. God, we got so many questions tonight. What if you don't get better with the membership? Then what happens? Is there something wrong with their ability to receive it, or the pathway that it travels?
No.
Or what happens?
Let's be realistic and pragmatic. Modern-day science has identified over 35,000 diseases, conditions. Now, I can help with some of those diseases and conditions. Most of the people feel better. Again, I can break apart germs, I can assemble nutrients, and I can balance the 7 chakras. I guarantee that I can do that. That is an accepted procedure. It's been tested and proven time and time again. If you don't feel better, it's no slight of your person. Perhaps there's something else. Perhaps you have a medical condition that's beyond my control. So by no means would I consider that you should take this personally. It's no slight against your character. We have to look at medicine. You have to look at wellness in a very pragmatic fashion and say to yourself, well, perhaps there's something else besides pathogens that is affecting my health.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And I did see a video today with a German professor who's done work with scalar energy in Germany in treating cancer. And so he's also kind of backing up a lot of the things that you were saying here tonight.
Yeah.
And Germany, I find, is way ahead of us with a lot of these alternatives that work. So it's a fascinating conversation to have all the way around that, again, there may be this wonderful way to help people out of the hole of terminal illness.
Yes. It's Scalar Energy is just about to make its grand entrance upon the world, and you've heard it here tonight, perhaps for the first time, but by no means is this going to go away. There's just too much of an undercurrent. There's just too much of support now. It's growing by the day, by the week. People realize that Scalar Energy is indeed real, valid, and that there are many benefits that can be derived therefrom. Hence, you're going to see this within your lifetime very soon, as a matter of fact.
That's exciting. Here's another question for you, Tom. We're just going to keep going.
Okay.
They want to know, are you magnifying this energy?
Yes, that's a good point. I have found that quartz crystal, is a natural amplifier, magnifier of scalar energy. So I have a scalar energy instrument that does indeed produce a standing wave, as we call it, or a scalar energy standing wave. Now, with a quartz magnifier, I can indeed enhance this energy. And I'll also say this. When I am working with scalar energy instruments, I experience over unity every time I'm working with this energy, which is what? It's a self-magnification of the energy. In other words, when I turn my scalar energy instruments on, automatically my instruments begin to absorb scalar energy from the atmosphere, and the potential increases automatically. Now imagine that. Imagine if you would turn some type of electrical device on and just wait a few minutes, and automatically the energy from the room, the atmosphere, automatically starts to coalesce and augment in that electrical appliance. I see that every day in my laboratory. Meaning what? Meaning scalar energy is radiant energy, and once I turn on my instruments automatically begin to collect scalar energy from the local environment.
And then you're able to focus it and magnify it out towards your clients.
That's correct.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
I am just loving this. This is so nice to hear. I mean, it's, again, when you look at the pharmaceutical industry, and again, they offer some wonderful things, and at the same time, we also have to be a little bit cautious because we know they're also looking for customers. It doesn't mean that they're looking to heal you of your disease. It means they're looking for people to buy their drugs. So again, it's a tough place to be in, and especially for people who are facing very difficult diagnoses, whether it's a chronic illness like an autoimmune disease or cancer or Parkinson's or anything like that. It's a very frightening situation for a lot of people, and yet here's an alternative that's non-invasive, has no side effects, got nothing to lose by trying it.
Thank you. That's the whole point of my research. It's friendly energy. I've learned how to conduct, how to broadcast this, how to control it. And yes, I have mastery now over germs. I have mastery over nutrients. It's, if you will, this is the Rosetta Stone of wellness.
Now, do you have people that you've worked with that have chronic fatigue and have had good results with that?
Yes. I have treated people with chronic fatigue syndrome. In so doing, and I want to mention this, many of those people have subsequently had a PCR test or a viral load test conducted, and the results have been stellar. People have reported to me that their viral load, their PCR, polymerase chain reaction test, showed no viral load detectable for the Epstein-Barr virus. So from those people that I have treated, and from the individuals who have substantiated my research, my treatments, invariably those tests have come back negative. There is no viral load detectable after I treat people. Well, and as you've hit the nail on the head, the Epstein-Barr virus has been implicated as being part of perhaps the causative agent, or at least contributing to malaise or mononucleosis or fibromyalgia or chronic fatigue syndrome.
Well,
yes.
It's involved with everything. I mean, all autoimmune diseases seem to have a component with some type of virus, and Epstein-Barr turns up over and over again. And the thing that a lot of people don't realize about chronic fatigue and Epstein-Barr is that this is not your normal, gee, I feel tired today. This is just system exhaustion, so that you can't even put one foot in front of the other. You're trying to figure out how you're going to do that. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about Epstein-Barr or mono or just chronic fatigue. It is an absolutely horrible, horrible diagnosis to live with. And I know many people who have lived with it, and it is very hard for people to understand that don't have this diagnosis. It goes way beyond, they say, well, I'm really tired today from Epstein-Barr. Somebody will say, oh, yeah, me too. No, you're not the same. It's not the same. It's much, much worse than anybody can even imagine. So being able to treat this is so important, because there's very little else. I know there's alternatives like herbs and things like that. But as we discussed earlier in the show, getting past the mycoplasma, also the one with no cell wall, getting past these bacteria and viruses that have that biofilm around it, it just makes it so hard to treat.
You're absolutely right. I do treat out mycoplasms. Various species of mycoplasm are on my radar, and you're right. These pathogens wreak havoc on the human body, on the human mind, and that's why I've made a career out of this. I wanted to find a fundamental way to get rid of them, and I have it. Scalar Energy disassembles and eradicates germs, period.
And that is it right there. I mean, if you can do that with Scalar Energy for people, this is, like you mentioned, it's more than a leg up on their healing path. Because when you are fighting off and trying to fight off this type of bacteria, viruses, fungi, whatever, you're in a war zone with your body. And your body's constantly trying to fight this off and is not able to do it successfully. So you're exhausting yourself. You're having mitochondrial damage because this stuff goes in and actually literally takes a bite out of the cell wall. And the cell membrane is where you get your energy from. So it's damaging that mitochondrial cell, and it's a nightmare. It just keeps spiraling out of control. Try as you may to fight these things. So finally you have something that I hope will work for everybody. It's great.
Yes, thank you. You're absolutely right. It is great. I just can't wait till the world embraces Scalar Energy, and you're going to see such a much more effective way of dealing with life, not only wellness, but Scalar Energy eventually is going to replace so much of technology that will be made obsolete by this quintessential life form.
I can't wait. Now, Scalar Energy can also be used. There's a dark side to how it can be used, yes?
Of course, yes. And that's a good point. Scalar Energy can be used for good or for evil. Many of the discoveries that I have made, I'm going to keep them to myself. Yes, Scalar Energy can be used as a tool of destruction.
And we don't want that.
We've had enough of those in the world. We can do without that, that's for sure.
Definitely can do without it. But it has been talked about that way, that Scalar Energy can be used to manipulate people's emotions, so it can be used for control and other things, I guess. We don't have to get into any horrible detail about it, but it does have that other side to it. If it got into the wrong hands, or people without altruistic motives, like yourself, if they don't have that and they don't have an internal moral compass, then they might use this to our detriment.
Yeah,
being
right.
able
And
to have clarity,
I would agree.
When you're talking about clarity of mind by having the treatment, that it helps that precision to be taking place, especially with Alzheimer's and things like this today. Will this work with someone that's going through something like that?
It will help them. It's certainly not the cure for Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, but it will help with mental clarity. I'll fast forward it. If we lived in a perfect Scalar Energy environment, everybody would have perfect memory, perfect recall. We would be geniuses. There would be no Alzheimer's. Our brains would be super computers. They are right now. We just haven't unleashed that potential. So what I'm doing right now is a doorway. It's a step towards that perfect mental environment.
Now, you see a lot of
Sounds
devices.
fabulous.
also advertised, Tom. And are any of these devices good to use? I've seen pendants. I've seen things you can leave in your room. Are those valid ways of working with scalar energy or not?
Well, let's revisit scalar energy once again. Everything in the world is accepting is a capacitor in some sense for scalar energy. Why? Scalar energy is sunlight and starlight. So everything in the world is veritably a pendant or a battery or a capacitor for scalar energy. So with that in consideration, it really boils down to how effective is that pendant or that capacitor really collecting and harnessing scalar energy. I cannot comment, and I won't because, frankly, I'm ignorant. I don't look at these products. It's not within my orbit. But just a word to the wise, consider that everything in the universe is filled with scalar energy. It has to be. Scalar energy is responsible for all geometric form.
So there may be some devices that actually amp it up or can focus it a little bit better than others, but like you're saying, that's not what you do, so you're not going to comment on other people's devices. But is that something that you have in the works for yourself to be able to sell to your clients? Do you have any plans to create something like that?
At the present time, no. I would say this. If you want a perfect scalar energy battery or capacitor, it's crystal. And a lot of people realize that. A lot of people say, well, crystal has always had these incredible powers and it's different. It's not like your typical physical substance. And I agree. Crystal is a natural repository, capacitor, collector, if you will, of scalar energy. And people have known that for centuries. Well, that's true and accurate. Why? What is the animating principle behind crystal? It's scalar energy. Scalar energy makes crystal quartz come alive.
Gosh. So working with crystals is a good way to help focus that energy.
Yes, correct.
Would you recommend that people wear them or have them in their presence, say on their desk or something like that?
Well, we do that automatically. Once again, we're all experts in scalar energy. We don't realize that. Well, how many women, especially women, have diamond rings? Well, what's a diamond? It's some form of precious stone that collects scalar energy. Here's another one, gold. Gold is a wonderful collector of scalar energy. Well, this is why some people feel better when they are wearing some type of jewelry, precious stones or gold. They're capacitors. They store scalar energy. Now, you've heard this before. Some people claim that by wearing a copper wristband or a copper ankle bracelet, it helps them with stability. Some people say it has improved their arthritis. Well, there's merit to that. Why? It's a collector of scalar energy. So a copper bracelet is really a scalar energy pendant in many ways.
Isn't that something? Yes. So if you combine copper...
When Nikola Tesla was in Colorado Springs, he erected a scalar energy tower. And that scalar energy tower was a dome of copper. So Tesla knew instinctively that copper was a great way to collect scalar energy. Well, I don't recommend that people erect a 150-foot copper tower in their backyard. But I do recommend that if a copper bracelet helps you, then yes, you will collect scalar energy from that copper bracelet, just as Nikola Tesla's Colorado Springs tower had a copper dome.
Wow. Now, if you add copper to crystal, then you must get an increased experience with scalar energy, yes?
Yes, or gold and crystal, yes.
Gold and crystal.
Yes.
Well, I guess we all need to purchase more of that.
I think it's a shopping trip for sure.
It definitely is, and gold has come down in price, so that's good news. Gold and oil both. So that's tremendous news for us that need to go buy gold. And
now, does silver fall in that same category?
Oh, you read my mind.
Yes. It's not as perfect as gold. I don't use silver as much as I use gold, but yes, all of these precious metals seem to have a significant affinity for scalar energy. If you will, some people say that heaven is the perfect state, the steady state, and they're right. And by that I mean, if you go to heaven, you'll find a lot of quartz and crystal. You'll find a lot of gold, a lot of precious stones. Why? That's the final state. What do I mean? Well, gold does not corrode or rust. Diamonds, rubies, sapphire does not rust. Emerald does not corrode. That's the perfect scalar energy state. It's the final state. There's no degradation. If you read the book of Revelation,
with any of that.
Exactly. If you read the book of Revelation, it describes heaven. It's a gold floor with crystal walls, and it's adorned with precious stones. Well, all of that material does not corrode. It does not rust. It does not decay. So if you really want to be heaven-like, then you have to surround yourself with heavenly objects.
Yes, the beauty of all of that. And I have another question for you. This is an important one. People want to know if this type of treatment, if they could sign up one of their pets for this kind of treatment. Can you do that?
Excellent question. I frequently treat pets, dogs, cats. I have a St. Bernard. I treat my St. Bernard every day.
Oh.
And my St. Bernard is germ-free. You know, I look at his gums, they're as pink as can be. He has no rash, no infection. Yes, to answer your question, people frequently send in photographs of dogs, cats, birds, etc.
And you have, I see, a different kind of a price schedule for individuals. You have also groups. So if people have a group together that want to get scalar energy, then you can beam this over to a group of people.
Exactly. I have big discounts, deep discounts, if you will, for families. I'm trying to encourage families to sign up. So the greater the number of people, the greater the discount.
That sounds great. What
an
opportunity.
Opportunity
exactly.
Tonight on Supernatural Girls, that's for sure. And again, your website is selfheal, HEAL, go.com. And so people can go to that website and they can find all of this information.
That's correct.
And then they can sign up there if they want to for 30 days of treatment. And then I see you also have a membership where people can sign up for more than that. You can sign up for 6 months or a year if you want.
That's correct. That's correct. I have some people who sign up religiously month after month. Now, what I've done, I've broken this down in 30-day treatments so that you can decide if you want to continue. Some people see the benefit to the point that they sign up their family for a 6-month package. Why? They know it works, and they want their family to be healthy. So it's their form of health insurance, if you will. It's their form of sound health.
Well, again, this is a very powerful treatment, and yet it's so non-invasive. It's so simple. You don't even have to lie down to receive the energy or stop what you're doing. As you mentioned, you can just go on about your business. You're going to be doing the beaming, I'm going to call it, and so you can wash dishes or do your regular job or be babysitting your sister's kids or whatever. It doesn't matter. You can still receive the energy.
You mentioned about dental. Does the germs in the mouth with that, because that seems to be such a major problem these days with people.
Yes.
And that would take care of that as well?
Correct. And the beauty of it is this. Obviously, some people have dental caries. Some people have gingivitis. They have infection on their gums. Some people have infection in the root, in the actual within that anatomical space. Well, what does scalar energy do? No matter where the germ is, the pathogen is, scalar energy penetrates through any physical matter and disassembles the germ. So if you have an infection in your bone, in your gums, in your blood, or in a polysaccharide, in some type of biofilm, it doesn't matter. Scalar energy will disassemble the germ and eradicate that germ no matter where it is in the human body. So that's a great point. Scalar energy is a wonderful tool fighting dental caries, fighting against gingivitis. I have had many people have told me that they thought they were candidates for root canal, but with the scalar energy treatments, the germs were disassembled and eradicated, and they did not have to go through a root canal procedure.
That is a godsend right there.
Heavens, yes.
Yeah.
That is for sure.
Goodness. Yeah, so people can sign their pets up, they can sign their family up, they can sign just themselves up if they want. And again, you have packages that go for many months or just 1 month. It's up to the person to decide what they want to do. And then, like you mentioned,
Correct.
they can renew at any time, which is excellent. What about, here's another question from the chat room, what about mental illness? Do you find it has an effect on that?
I believe when we're balancing the chakras that scalar energy serves to help, I'll say, palliate some types of mental illness. Now, some people, not everybody, but some people have told me that the chakra balancing has served over the course of time, over the course of a few months, allowed them to wean away from psychiatric medicine. Now, I'm not suggesting that's going to happen for everybody, but I have heard that, and it has helped some people to that extent. Why? Scalar energy automatically reprograms the 7 chakras of the body. And in so doing, some people are able to witness a significant improvement in their psychological health, in their mental state.
And this is making sense, too, because Patricia and I have tried to get a couple of psychologists and psychiatrists onto the show to talk about this very issue, because what a lot of them are talking about amongst themselves but are afraid to come out publicly and discuss is that they actually feel that some mental illness is basically people being able to see into these other realities, and what they're seeing, the voices they're hearing are actually real.
Yes.
And that it's related to some type of a chakra blowout. So you have this one chakra that's wide open, and so they're seeing and hearing all this stuff, thinking they're nuts. But what these psychologists and psychiatrists have been saying is they're not nuts. It's an actual psychic imbalance that has taken place, and the things that they're seeing and hearing are real. So I was just blown away by that. And we've got to get these people on the show, but they haven't agreed to come on yet. So we can see why they wouldn't.
I can see why some people are timid, but that's exactly what's happening. You know, some people, it's a shame. It's simply misunderstood. Let's take autism. An autistic person sees a different dimension. I firmly believe that an autistic person has a perception of the scalar energy environment that is far beyond that of what most people see, and that an autistic person simply needs to be reprogrammed. A scalar energy a scalar energy chakra balancing will someday be so significant, strong enough to reprogram the 7 chakras, and I believe scalar energy will be the answer for many autistic conditions. What am I saying? Autism is a short circuit of scalar energy. There seems to be some scalar energy imbalance that produces autism.
Well, that's fascinating, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that would like to hear more about that. And also, I wonder if it also ties in with the pathogen situation, because there are some people that have linked autism and Asperger's syndrome to vaccines.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not anti-vaccine. I'm not against vaccines, but I am against contaminated vaccines. And according to Dr. Garth Nicholson, who is a microbiologist, there's a lot of vaccines that have mycoplasma in them.
Yeah,
so I'm going to take Garth's word for it, because he's a scientist and he's tested these vaccines. So there becomes a question then for scalar energy to be able to disassemble those types of pathogens, which you said it does work, and you have found a way to disassemble some of the mycoplasma. Then this might also be an adjunct for treatment.
Yes, and I think that's appropriate. It is an adjunct for treatment. Now, let's look at the facts. Look at the children in Africa. There's really not a high incidence of autism in Africa. Why? Well, one of the signs, one of the reasons, I believe, is because The children in Africa are not vaccinated as the children in the United States and Canada and Europe. There has to be a cause and effect here. What are we saying? Well, perhaps that some of these pathogens that are introduced in a vaccine serve to shut down the chakra system. They serve to lend itself to some type of a psychic overload, so that children who are exposed to vaccination, some of them cannot simply handle this overload of energy. And what results? The condition of autism. There's got to be a cause and effect to this.
Well, I agree with you 100%. And there were also articles that surfaced in the last couple of years about vaccines that we got, in the 50s and in the 60s that were supposedly, according to these articles, contaminated with some type of a cancer virus. And certainly we are seeing quite enough surge in cancer diagnoses lately. Also autoimmune through the roof. And so we have to wonder, is there a correlation here?
There has to be. It's been, and there's supporting documentation, 25% of human cancers are caused by viruses. When a virus is in the body, it starts to integrate its genetic code into the human cells. Well, that integration causes a mutation. Now, I don't care if you receive, I don't care if it's a type of virus that has been transmitted naturally by human to human contact, or if it's a virus that has been acquired by a vaccination. A virus is a virus, and it's going to cause genetic damage.
Right. And as we talked about before, there's an intelligence with these things, and they communicate with each other, and they do mutate inside the body, as microbiologists will tell us. So there's a lot going on there. So to be able to disassemble this thing, this construct that's building its own little environment in your body, I mean, that is so powerful. That is the way to healing as far as I'm concerned. So
exactly. So that regardless of how a germ mutates, scalar energy is superior. What am I saying? Scalar energy is responsible for assembling that pathogen in the first place. So scalar energy puts us in the driver's seat so we can disassemble germs, pathogens. Regardless of the mutation, it doesn't matter. Scalar energy will override, so to speak, a mutation. I am convinced that where antibiotics will not be able to address germs, pathogens that mutate, because a lot of these germs now are finding some type of defense mechanism against any antibiotic or pharmaceutical product.
That's true.
Exactly. What a germ cannot find itself to escape, a germ is not superior to light. A light energy is fundamental. Scalar energy will override any mutation. In other words, all biological life obeys scalar energy. Scalar energy is responsible for that biological life in the first place. Well, if I broadcast the reverse phase angle of that life form, it breaks apart. So scalar energy puts us in the driver's seat.
It sure does. And again, I can't think of, and I'm very expert at a lot of alternative methods as well as traditional, and I can't think of another way that's going to address all this stuff. The way I see it psychically is this. I'm seeing antibiotics and medications and all of these things that we can throw at these organisms. But it's like a one level communication. What you're describing is scalar as multi-level communication. So it's almost like this thing, the scalar energy comes in, locks in to this virus on every level, disassembles it, and out it goes. So it's a much different approach and much more complex in its own simplicity. That's the only way I can say that I'm seeing this. Does it make sense?
Exactly. Ladies, scalar energy provides fundamental control over physical matter, and that extends to pathogens. So scalar energy allows us to have fundamental control over viruses and bacteria and protozoan, etc. Well, it puts us once again in the driver's seat. We are masters of the physical universe. We can control molecular and atomic structure. Scalar energy gives us this godlike capability. We can control physical matter.
Is that the Lost Ark? Is that what's inside of it, do you think?
If you look at the Ark of the Covenant that Moses and the Israelites enjoyed, that was a scalar energy instrument.
Yeah.
The Ark of the Covenant was a scalar energy instrument, and it produced incredible miracles. Well, once again, we want to approach this also on a supernatural level. Scalar energy is the explanation behind so many miracles, so many phenomena that have hitherto never been able to be explained.
I love it. Tom, this has gone too fast. I know Patricia and I could talk to you all night. You're just a wonderful guest to have on the show. You have an amazing system to offer people. It's certainly worth trying. Again, we're not suggesting to anybody that they abandon their medication or their traditional treatment in any way, shape, form, or manner, but this is a very exciting possibility. And again,
Definitely.
Everybody, you can find Tom and a way to contact him at his website, which is selfheal, HEAL, Go.com. And, oh, my God, Tom, we're going to have you back on the show. This has been an amazing hour and a half. Thank you so much. This has been great.
Ladies, I thank you. I enjoyed myself. I thoroughly enjoyed myself, and, frankly, your audience really gets it. You can see how simple yet profound this is.
Oh, yeah. We've got the best audience in the world. They're very bright, and they really are looking for ways to heal themselves. And what a wonderful tool you have brought to our awareness. And we wish you all the best as you... And listen, Patricia and I want to be your guinea pigs when you do the anti-aging stuff.
Oh, definitely. We'll start out with
we're
that.
We're signing up.
I have to sign up for the next session to find out what I can do to get me back in balance.
Yeah, that's
now
right.
I've got some ideas and some thoughts that, since I've been like a sponge this evening with all of your information, now I want to put myself to use with it.
Okay,
yes.
fair enough.
This has been great, Tom. And again, everybody, if you'd like to sign up for sessions or if you have questions for Tom, you can go to his website, which is selfhealgo.com. Oh, my God, this has been great. Tom, thank you so much.
It is.
Thank you, ladies, and thank the listening audience. I really enjoyed myself. Great questions tonight.
Well, we're going to have you back, that's for sure. I can see there's still a bunch of questions we didn't get to, but that's all right. We're going to invite you back again. Thank you so much.
Good night.
Good night.
Well, Patricia, we have learned so much.
I can't believe how, like I said, I sat here like a sponge, just absorbing all the information he was talking about. And so many things make sense when you stop and realize how much we have available to us. And he's come to give us the tools to be able to reach out and receive even more.
That's right.
Definitely a good way to go.
Oh, gosh, yes. I encourage everybody to visit his website, which is selfhealgo.com, and try these sessions. See if this is something that feels right for you. You know, check in with your own intuition, with your heart. See if it feels right for you. And if it does, give it a try. Again, there's no side effects. You don't have anything to lose.
That's right.
So, oh, my goodness.
I think
well,
I'll be signing up in the morning, that's for sure.
Oh, gosh, yes. Absolutely. I am, too. So we will report back to our audience on our experiences. And
definitely.
We will be bringing you more exciting guests as every Wednesday comes around, 7:30 to 9. Make sure you're signed up for the newsletter on Supernatural Girlz with a Z.com. And we're going to have free readings with a new medium coming in, and oh my goodness, all kinds of stuff with the sky people, and it just gets more exciting. If that's possible, I don't know, but
that's what keeps us coming back, because you never know what we're going to be surprised with the next time.
That's right. We're full of surprises, aren't we?
Oh, that we are.
Well, and again, everybody, remember to join us on Sunday evening, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. It'll be a half-an-hour prayer circle and healing session, and that should be a lot of fun and very relaxing for everybody. So take care, have a great week, and we will be back with you Sunday night for the prayer circle and Wednesday for the show.
For sure.
Good night, Patricia.
Good night, Patricia.
Thanks for listening. Tune in next week for another radio adventure with